hit up the middle. In comes Benny Milko coming around third. He'll score easily.
Hello and welcome to the continued coverage here of the Zeister slot tournament at the Blikkenburg Sportpark here in the Netherlands. Great to have you along. I'm Jason Gerbies with my co-commentator on this one, Peter Koldery here from the Netherlands. Great to have you along for this one. The matchup between South Africa and Denmark. South Africa will be the home team in this one, and they will take the field first, of course. Let's set that fielding line up for the South Africans for you. It's Masengi out at left field. Connor Derlange is at centre. Matsawanga is out at right field. Moiti Castago gets the start at third base. He's the mainstay there all day. Javier Frost, you'll get to hear his name a lot. Exceptional shortstop starting for South Africa in this one. Selassie Molokane will be the starting second base, and William Thompson will be at first base here for South Africa. Isaiah Cheney behind the dish for the starter in this one on the mound, Morgan Masengi, the pitcher from South Africa. Batting lineup for the Danish team. They will be batting first here, of course, and that will be Valdemar Terkelsen. He'll be followed by Anders Jørgensen. Freddie Terkelsen, the centre fielder, will bat in 3. Cleanup will be Daniel Yulnong. Martin Simonson, right fielder, will be hitting 5. Anton Brown will be hitting in the 6th spot. And that'll leave Alexandra Wong, Jacob Berger, and Daniel Milne will round out the batting order 1 to 9 here for the Danish team. As we're about to get underway, of course, there are more than 2 teams out there. Peter, who's the third team out on the diamond?
Well, we got the guys in blue with Bob Gieskens behind home plate, Damien McCallie at first base, Sarah Diele at second base, and Gert-Jan van der Hoeven and behind third base.
Well, fantastic. All set to go. All 3 crews are out there. Here comes the first pitch. Rise ball, low lifter right through the zone to Valdemar Terkelsen. Well, Peter, this matchup today between Denmark and South Africa, what do you think we're going to see?
I think we're going to see some exciting ball, get some 2 teams that are going at it and going to focus on getting some points in and making the difference.
Well, making the difference is the key here. Both teams obviously in the pre-warm-up tour heading to the WBSC Men's World Championship to be hosted in the Czech Republic starting this week, coming up on Thursday. If you haven't booked your airline tickets, get in quick because they'll be hot commodity. First time the World Championships be hosted in Europe. Looking forward to that one. Ground ball up the middle, and it successfully goes straight to centre field. And Terkelsen will go down to first base. First batter, first hit of the ball game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what South Africa is putting on the field now after their impressive game against New Zealand.
Well, outstanding match last night. Historical match, in fact. And Kakana pitching a gem for South Africa, blanking New Zealand on the score sheet for 8 consecutive innings. That game finishing in a 0-0 draw. That's the historical part of it. First time ever South Africa has never lost to New Zealand. Well, batting here now is Anders Jørgensen. I call him the Great Dane. Big man catcher. He'll be at first base in this one, getting a break on those legs. Runs a running bunt. There's something different. And that ball is live. Infielders converged, thought it might spin out of play, and the running sacrifice bunt from Jorgensen turns out to be trumps as it stays in field. Valdemar Terkelsen, who was at first base, goes all the way coast to coast, and he's now at third. So Denmark in a prime chance here to jump out early in this one. 2 runners in the corners, and Freddie Terkelsen will step in to go to work. Going at the first pitch, and shortstops, that's Frost is underneath it. He makes the catch. Runner comes off, but he's back in time. Plenty of animation from South Africa. Thought they had a bang-bang play for sure.
Yeah, they're all excited in the dugout and on every play. So they're backing up the guys on the field. And this was a close one for sure.
Well, we're still riding the wave, of course, from last night's historical draw against New Zealand, South Africa. They're on a high, don't you worry about that. The designated player, Daniel Yurgenong now, he takes the first pitch low. Big swing and a miss from Yurgenong. Looking to make his intentions here. Denmark will want to strike early. Of course, South Africa will have the option of bringing in Kana if they feel there's a possibility. Just like that, lunch has been delivered. I tell you what, don't matter what everyone says about Lance Wynn, he's top of my book. Foul back. Full swing again from Yurgenong. Power hitter, Peter?
Yeah, for sure. Charlie knows what he's doing with the bat, but he's been patient compared to Freddie in his at bat before when he went on the first pitch. So he's waiting on his pitch to drive and to get in the run.
Well, he looks to drive this one. It goes up, but it'll go out of play behind the backstop. And the Great Dane at first base, Jorgensen, will have to trot on back.
That's the thing when they have Lange on first. You know, it's not a speedy guy, so they cannot explore the 1-3 situation with the running.
Well, he had enough pace to get down there on that sacrifice bunt.
There we
and
go.
a line drive. That'll bounce once to the centre fielder. Turkelson will score. Lange's trying to stretch it out, and he is cold on delivery. Take your cards and stay at second base next time. Good drive, though, by Yurgenong, of course. Drives in the first run of the ball game here for Denmark. So with 2 outs now, they'll bring up the tall right-handing hitter, Martin Simonson. Of course, Yurgenong ready poised at first base to run. Drop ball at the top of the zone for the first strike. Singi, not a tall pitcher for South Africa. But seems to have all the pitches, Peter.
Yeah, he's throwing some decent speed. Ball's going up, going down. He's got a decent rise.
Well, that helps if you can use all parts or quadrants of the strike zone, of course. Effort pitch. This is outside the zone, though. Outside, trying to nibble on the outside edge, unsuccessful. Simpson now being patient in the box here. And a swing and a miss and a nice outside lifter. And Masingi says, that'll do it. But not before Daniel Yurgenong drives one to centre field. Valdemar scores the first run of the ball game for Denmark. They lead 1-0. Bottom coming up next. welcome back here. Bottom of the first innings in this matchup between Denmark and South Africa. Let's set the fielding lineup for Denmark for you, left to right in the outfield. Valdemar Torkelson, Freddie Tigson, other brothers, of course. Martin Simpson will round it out at right field. Hot corner will be Alex Wong. Daniel Milne will be ranging at shortstop here. Jacob Berger and Arnes Jorgensen, second and first base, respectively. And Anton Brown with the long home run against Adam Folkart in the last game. Outstanding outfielding as well. He will take over behind the dish. For the starter in this one, Lucas Lomond. Batting order for the South African team, Paloma Pilati will lead off. William Thompson will be hitting 2. Yavia Frost, the shortstop. He's handy. He'll be hitting 3. Molokani Chani Dalangi will be hitting 6. Moete, the third baseman, hits 7. Masawanga will be hitting 8. Will Masengi rounds out the batting order for South Africa in this one as we get underway in the bottom of the innings. Peter, have you had a chance to see much of South Africa in the batting prowess this week yet?
Sorry, say again?
South Africa, have you had a chance to see how they go offensively this weekend so far?
I saw them against the New Zealand team,
Yeah.
and there was a 0-0 game, pitching power from both sides. It's difficult for them to make the adjustments. What you see so far on some of the pitches, and it's I think for them also new that they're facing pitches they haven't seen before, and seeing the adjustments that they have to make.
Well, the adjustment's the key thing, isn't it? And we saw that in the game against New Zealand. Unfortunately, too many strikeouts for them to score a run. Daniel Chapman just proving too much in that one. So maybe they've got some time to just work on the offense. Defensively, they were outstanding yesterday. And, of course, the pitching of Kakana was simply supreme.
No, you also saw that just with the ball on the outfield, the base hit. You know, they're quick on the ball and getting it back on the infield. So defensively, they're solid.
They say defense wins championships. Arnes Jorgensen, plenty of yeses. Svena, of course. Good beard, might I add. Great to see a good beard in softball, don't you think, Peter?
Yeah, well, it's the crowds. They want to see it. They want to see it happen on the diamond, and they want to see guys running the bases and getting the ball in field.
Of course, they want to see them in the performance on the field. It always looks a little better when the man's manscaped well. Here we go. Bottom of the first innings here. Now ready to start. Pilati just fouls off, drop ball on the outside edge from Lohman. Lohman, the youngest pitcher on the staff for Denmark. Doesn't have a lot of moving parts in his delivery. Got good height, so uses his levers. This one in the hands a little bit, maybe Texas Liga, and not on my watch. There's Freddie, so Valdemar Torkelson at left field. He comes in a long way to make that catch in shallow left field. William Thompson now, first baseman. He'll step in and try his luck against Lohman. Pete, have you seen much of Lohman before?
No, not really.
He's obviously the youngest of the crew. Kim Hansen went the last game. Great matchup for him against Australia. Challenged him the whole way.
What is surprising, though, is that Denmark keeps getting young guys, young pitchers in the game.
Coming forward on that one is Wong, and the throw is just low. Too hard to handle for the Great Dane at first base, and that means Thompson will be the first base runner here. Tough play. It was a little bobble first. You were going to think an error or a hit.
That would be an error on first base.
All right. Oh, well, first base gets it. Not the bobble and the throw from the third baseman. That's the one. It's okay. Someone's got to be on Wong's side here. Foul ball, hot shot, goes in the on-deck circle from Yavia Frost. Molokani at the on-deck circle had to do the leapfrog. we're happy everything's in the right place. Well, Peter, you've been involved for a long time in the game, over 40 years you've been involved in it. Of course, played a couple of years for your national team, but then got the opportunity to be the assistant coach for the Netherlands when they went to Saskatoon to the World Championship. In your mind, for the Netherlands or any team like Denmark or South Africa going to a world event, what's some of the key things that they need to have in place before they get to the World Tournament?
Well, the pitching is going to be different than what they have in their own league, so they have to take it 1 or 2 notches higher. So you have to make adjustments speed-wise for one. So that's something you have to work with in your preparation before you go.
Yeah, you do. And just see their drop ball just too hard to handle. And picks up the first strikeout of the innings, does Lohman for the second out. That'll bring up the second baseman now. Selangi, Molakwani. So adapting to the pitches is definitely one of the things that they'll be doing this week. What else do you think is some of the key things you need to have prepared before you head off to the big show?
Well, pitching-wise, I think it's good that you already have a plan on who you're gonna face, which teams are in your pool. You got to have make a rotation, make a pitching plan, and I think that's key in preparation. What you can do over here, and make sure your battery is okay.
Well, having a good battery is definitely key for sure. Both pitchers and catchers got to be on sync, especially with these elite hitters these days. A lot of research goes in and scouting, of course, to make sure that they can try and get the upper hand. So the battery just has to be on their game the whole time, don't they?
Exactly, and what they can have here, but that's for all of the teams, they can have some quality at bats against stronger pitching than they see in the league.
Well, they can indeed, but I'll tell you what, if Lucas Lohman keeps up with that drop ball on the outside corner, he's going to have a successful afternoon. 2 strikeouts, no score for South Africa. We go to the top of the second, no score in it yet. Welcome back here in the top of the second innings. And, of course, the score is 1-0. Daniel Ulenon in the top of the first drove in Valdemar Turkelson on a line drive to centre field. So the Danes are leading by 1 here. They'll send up Anton Brown, Alex Wong, and Jakob Berger. And he continues his hard hitting. Does Anton Brown, takes the first offering and drives it to left field.
Looks like he was sitting on the rise ball there.
Definitely showing his intention of being aggressive on the first pitch too, right? That's what I think Denmark do here. They probably don't get to play South Africa very much and want to take their opportunities when they're presented to them. Alex Wong now. First pitch comes down through the zone. Pitcher early in a contest like this. Sacrifice bunt is down, and it is perfect from Wong. And gets the tag. Brown is sacrificed over to third. Got to say there, Wong was just a little lucky. He just paused and almost came back. As soon as you step back, it's dead ball, you're out.
Yep.
And, of course, Brown has to go back to second base. So very lucky he didn't take that step back. He leaned, but I guess never got the step back. Anyway, using all the tools here is Denmark, and they're going to bring up Jacob Berger now. Second baseman. Veteran player out of Denmark. He must have come to a few Zeist slot tournaments over his time.
Yeah, I've seen him a couple of times, that's right.
I'm talking about the Zeister slot tournament, mate. What a great event. They do a great job here setting it up, and it almost seems like a festivity of softball.
Yeah, softball it's a small world. Yeah? You meet each other on different diamonds around the world, and it's seeing friends again that you see from year to year, and maybe different diamonds. But it's also a matter of getting acquainted again and see each other.
Nothing like seeing your acquaintances, and why not use softball as the reason? Hard line drive from the veteran, and that goes to left field, and just like that, Denmark take the lead here even further, 2-0. Nothing like seeing a veteran do the job at the plate, right?
That's always cool to see. Can still do the job. That's why you're in the lineup.
It's always the hard decision. When do you retire? When you hit balls like that, and keeps you coming back, doesn't it? Daniel Milne now. He shapes up to bunt the first pitch. Gets loose behind the disc for Chimane.
Well, you see now that he's starting with an off-speed pitch, and all the batters before that he faced, he was throwing the same speed and got burned on 2 hits.
Well, that'll make an adjustment for sure. Trying to keep these batters off balance here. 2 hits to left field. One of them was off field, of course. As Brown is the left-hander. This one's low. You just see that low lifter. That's a good pitch. Comes through the bottom edge of the zone from Masingi. So Daniel Milne here, left hand, has got some options offensively, I guess, Peter.
Yeah, but he's trying to keep it low in the zone until now, where the 2 hits were waist pitches, waist high pitches.
We'll come all the way back as Masingi. Full count now. Fouled back, dead ball still in the box from Milne. Milne, another young prospect player coming out of Denmark, you were mentioning. They've got this youth coming through. They seem to keep on bringing in the stocks of players.
Well, that's the difference between Denmark and the Netherlands. That they...
Oh, a good pitch on the outside edge from Masingi. And a leg kick to boot as he picks up the strikeout there of Milner. And good to see that type of passion out there on the diamond. So with 2 outs now, that'll bring up Valdemar Terkelson.
Oh, he was going for that one.
I got a sore back just watching it happen. Terkelson settles back in, puts his feet back in his shoes. The swing is the same. It's off field though. Ranging a long way of the left fielder. Masingi out of his reaches though. Just off the end of the bat. Feldman, not a player to muck around too much in the batter's box.
He doesn't have a lot of spot where it's easy to pitch him. It's really difficult to get him out.
Natural player. You know, you see some players when you come to the ball yard and watch them perform, and you see some have to really work at their craft. Some of them have got a gift, and I think young Valdi's one of those kids that has a gift.
He's close to getting just born on the field. I think for the rest, he's seen almost all the diamonds as a young kid, so he's been going around.
Nothing wrong with coming to the ballpark of the family, that's for sure. The Terkelsons are a great family to have along. Picks up the strikeout there, Masingi of Terkelson, and that'll do the top of the second. We'll go to the bottom. And it is, of course, Denmark leading the ball game now. 2 runs to nil. Welcome back here. At the bottom of the second inning, South Africa have their second shot at Lucas Lohmann, the starter for Denmark. He pulls a rise ball on the outside edge to start off here. Isaiah Shamane, the starting catcher for this one. He'll be followed by Delange and Moiti, the third baseman for South Africa.
That was nice on the outside corner.
Well, Lohmann definitely seems like he's up for this game, that's for sure. We saw him come in relief in the earlier match yesterday against Japan. Outstanding effort from Denmark against Japan there, using all 3 pitches, starting with Hansen. And then Turkelson, that's Valdemar, came in with a couple innings of no-score relief before Lohmann come in with a little bit of trouble in the 6th innings. Actually had the lead at that point, did Denmark. And just like good teams do.
Well, there you see that changing the pictures, having a lefty in the middle there, then, you just have to make the adjustments from the other side. And that's a challenge that the other team can give you.
We see so many countries with a righty-lefty combination, but I tell you what, the way Lucas Lohmann's going, he doesn't need any lefty to help him out. Picks up that strikeout of Shamani there to start off the innings. Cornet Delange now as centre fielder. High socks, good to see that. Don't see that very often. Pitch on the outside edge. Peter, got to say, I'm really impressed with the way you turned the weather around for us from yesterday. It's real kind of you.
Well, it couldn't get any worse. It was a small nightmare for the organization to have everything lined up and then getting the weather like we had yesterday. Luckily, we still managed to get some games through that we can continue it today without any big adjustments.
Got to say, Christina Cruz and Matthias working hard there behind the scenes to get that schedule adjusted for all of these games to come through on day 2. As this ground ball goes to the shortstop, coming forward, the throw release is good. And the young shortstop, Daniel Milne, with a nice bang play there to pick up the second out. Well, this young man coming up for South Africa next, he's a bit of a fire starter in my mind. Love the way he plays defensively. He's built for speed. Kasego, Moiti. So interesting to see how he can get along. If he can get, I reckon, get the ball in play, he could be dangerous once he gets on base. Swinging over the top of that one. Change up, just clips the top of the zone, trying to duck underneath that one, Moiti. Not fooling no one behind the plate, of course.
Lucas is not really wasting any pitches like he's doing now.
Just couldn't quite get the low lifter to pop up. Nice pitch anyway. Well, just with that weather yesterday we were mentioning, Peter, even with the rain delays and maybe playing through the rain at times, I thought the standard of softball was exquisite.
Yeah, it made a challenge to the teams to play through the rain and playing with some wet grass and making the adjustments on your play there. Saw some really cool plays on the infield from Japan and New Zealand in their game. When balls were hit in the infield, quick release and quick throws to make sure that they were on time.
Well, I think you're right about the teams putting on a performance, and outstanding. Take my hat off to them yesterday to play through those conditions. But, of course, with the World Tournament only 4 days away, I want to try and get as many games as possible in any conditions. And the change-up is good from Lohman. Just gets them on the front foot, and we'll sit them down 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the second. No score for South Africa, 2-0, Denmark lead. Back to the action here, top of the third innings. Denmark will send up Jorgensen, Turkelsen and Julianon. And going at the first pitch again, we've seen that so far, so often from Denmark in this match. Rose ball taken up top. Great Dane there. There's a big strike zone too. Fouls that one in the foot. No one likes those ones. 1-2 and a sore foot for Jorgensen. Umpire comes out. That's a nice bit of courtesy, isn't it? Unwritten rule. Almost the catcher the umpires look after. They're looking after the batter as well. That's good. Well, your softball in the Netherlands, of course, you have also baseball that they play, both diamond sports. And ground ball comes straight up the middle. Foot comes loose off the base. He does get back in time. Thompson just searching there, trying to find the base. Managed to get back there in time. So Peter, you've got some kids in the ball game?
Yeah, my youngest son is playing baseball.
Fantastic.
In the lower divisions in his youth.
Excellent. And your other kids have played as well?
Yeah, my daughter has played softball for a couple of years, and my oldest son also played baseball.
Fantastic. Sounds like a romance. Where did you meet your wife?
Sorry, that was on the diamond as well.
Oh, well, there you go. No wonder you're in love with this game, my friend. And great to have you along on the broadcast. Rise ball too high. Freddie Turkelsen, centre fielder here for Denmark. Hard line drive. If it stays fair, it'll be extra bases. It is indeed. He'll trot round and go into second base, standing up. Freddie Turkelsen, elite hitter for Denmark, lead hitter around the world.
Yeah, it's very special to see that Freddie is a dominant hitter here in these kind of games. But if he's going to the top games that he's a top hitter there as well. He's making the adjustments to top pitching. I think it's very special.
I tell you what, I got to meet Freddie well in his teenage years. He would come to New Zealand and play, and he must have played, I would say, in the end, that Freddie is, of course, their whole family, the Turklesons, are right into softball, and they'd come over. So I got to see him at a young age. Here is a lift out by Yulanon. Regulation catch for the left fielder, Masengi. So Turkelson, Freddie that is still out at second base, not to be mistaken for the first baseman, Hannes Jorgensen, the Great Dane. But internationally, Turkelson's known as a Great Dane. But I tell you what, that catcher for Denmark's a big man. Martin Simpson now takes one down the pipeline. And off the end of the bat will be a 1-3 regulation. Quick innings. Freddie Turkelson only blip of the map there, double to right field. They'll do us in the top of the third. We'll go with the bottom. We come back 2-0. Denmark leading the ball game. Well, welcome back here. We continue this match between two great nations, South Africa and Denmark. Bottom of the third innings, and South Africa will set up the lefty first. And he drops it down, trying to change the offense, but there'll be a tag applied by the replacement first baseman, Kim Hansen, into the ball game. Other substitutions and changes fielding-wise, Marty Simpson will go to centre field. Valdemar Turkelson will be out at right field. And that means Hannes Jorgensen and Freddie Turkelson The Great Danes get a break. Oh, another running bunt attempt. And we're just seeing here, by the looks, Peter, that there's an offensive strategy has changed for South Africa.
Yeah, they're trying to get on base in a different strategy, trying to put the ball down. I haven't been so lucky until now, 2 outs. But you got to try something. It's still a close ball game. Still early in the game.
It sure is. Only bottom of the third. A long way to go in this one. The top of the shop now. And Pilati, he will take a ball below the zone to get this one started.
But what is surprising to see is that number 8 and 9, they're trying to get on base as they haven't had a hack on the pitcher before. You would expect that they go for bunting maybe in their second at bat.
This one comes outside the zone. Loman now leans back. Change of pace, just stuck in the fingers there, hangs up over the top of the strike zone. So Blighty working hard here, gets himself rewarded with a hitter's count now. Here comes a 3-1. And it's good through the middle of the zone. That'll fill it up now. Lifting this one out, and a nice running play by Valdemar Turkelson at right field, and that'll retire the side in order here in the third innings, and that'll complete us. We'll be back with the fourth. 2-0, Denmark leading South Africa. Welcome back here. Denmark will try to ply the lead even further up jar as they'll bring up the hard-hitting Anton Brown, followed by Alex Warren and Jacob Berger here. 1, 2, 3 for Denmark in the top of the fourth innings. And another hard drive from Brown. His eye is definitely in here. He'll be feeling comfortable as he heads away to Prague in a couple of days. Notice the Danish team this match, Peter, just either going at the first or the second pitch, but just not mucking around in the batter's box.
No, they're challenging each other. And, well, it's still early in the game, and the score is tied, so Denmark wants to, push forward and try to get some more runs on the board.
Makes sense, doesn't it? Trying to apply the lead further apart here. And it's Wong who will try and lift it up. It's second baseman's camped underneath it. Molokoani makes the catch, backpedaling for the first out here. Brown has no choice but to stay at first base. Jacob Berger, he'll step in to go to work now. A veteran. Picked up a fine RBI drive to left field, his first trip up. Not tempted by a high-rise ball. That's a good pitch, comes through the inside edge to level the count now. Coaching staff for Denmark, Richard Eldridge, head coach over at third base, Jens Terkelsen at first, assisting him. Pop up, it goes straight to Frost at shortstop. He'll take care of that every day of the week. Fine player is Frost. That'll bring up Daniel Milne. But Richard Eldridge, the head coach for Denmark, understand, Peter, he's only been in the country for approximately 6 years now, moved over from the United States. Probably fell in love with one of those lovely ladies from Denmark, who wouldn't, of course. But great to have his experience here and a little changing of the guard head coach-wise for Denmark.
Yeah, it's a different skipper and some different views, some different ideas, bringing it to the Denmark team. The team has been run by Jens Terkelsen a couple of times. We had Izzy Nukunuku from New Zealand.
We know Izzy, especially this
yeah,
week, that's for
Izzy.
sure. He's been great. He's a great coach as well as Israel Nukunuku. And diving back in time is Brown after a nice line drive, 2 hard hits to right field, this one off Milne. So it'll bring up top of the shop now. Valdemar Terkelsen, single up the middle. His first trip, 1 from 2. Dropper is low. Almost looks like Singi took a little bit off that as well.
Yeah, he's going to be very secure with his pitches and not winning one that he can drive.
Rise ball was what Turkelson was looking for, and unfortunately can't get the top hand on it. That'll sail to the right fielder, Masagwenge, for the third out of the innings. So Denmark can't convert the lead-off single by Brown, and they'll leave 2 stranded here.
They could have played that a little bit differently. You know, you start off with a lead on the first batter, try to bunt him to second, and then have a little bit more chances on a base hit and utilizing getting a run in it.
It's all about the strategy, I suppose. In this case, they chose the long ball. Couldn't quite convert. We'll come back with the bottom of the 2-0 scoreline. Denmark over South Africa. Oh, bottom of the 4th innings here. And South Africa will send up Thompson, Frost, and Molokane. Spinner off the end of the bat. Changing the pace here, Lohman. Lohman looking in control at this point.
Yeah, he keeps dominating the hitters so far. They're still trying to look to get some good contact on him.
As you mentioned, there's not much in this game. Only 2 runs in it thus far. So if South Africa can get something happening, it needs to predominantly be from the top and middle part of their order. My mind, from what I've seen out of their batters, this is their time. Javier Frost has been outstanding for South Africa the whole time. And change up again from Lohman. Gets a little bit of a smile too. He's liking the way that's coming out of his hand at the moment. Why wouldn't you? Got to say, I bumped into the South African boys yesterday during all that weather that we're so lucky to have. And they had about 12 jackets on each. And they're going running down to first base. And he is safe. Javier Frost, not only is he silky smooth in the field with a glove, but he's got the gas to boot. Safely beats out that running bunt.
I guess they're coming from a different temperature, and having. It's good that they had those jackets with them because it was quite cold yesterday, and the rain was not helping.
I'll tell you what, even with the temperature being down for them yesterday and wearing all those jackets, that did not affect their performance on the field against New Zealand, did it? So congratulations to those boys. And I'll tell you what, with a draw like that against New Zealand, I'm sure they're going to be warm for the rest of their trip.
That will warm up their hearts for sure, yeah.
Exactly. Swing and a miss. That'll allow Frost to go down to second base on the pass ball by Brown.
Well, that will be something that they talk about for years to come.
I think they will. You never know. Maybe you see a movie about it one day. We'll find out. Kumbaya. Fantastic. It was great to see South Africa just achieve that feat yesterday. This one's up top, of course. Selagi Molokani, second baseman here, looking for that single, driving their opening run. Riseball's popped up, going to the fence, and it'll go out of play. Loman's still working from ahead of the count here. And behind Diamond One here at the Blikkenburg Sports Park, there's some vegetation, so a lot of ball boys and ball girls running around in full uniform. Good to see getting the balls, but obviously a lot of balls being recycled, so the umpire just making sure he's happy with the ball's condition when it comes back into play. 2-2 now. Molokwani works himself back to an even count. And drop ball is good from Loman. Puts Molokwani to his knees. He'll be retired and head back to the dugout. I want to bring up the catcher now, Isaiah. Goes to the first pitch and it's good. It's going all the way back to the track. One bounce, hits the fence, and that'll plate the first run for South Africa. Hands in the air, applause aplenty. Well, it seemed like he took a little leaf out of Denmark's book there going at the first pitch.
Yeah, well, this is the first really good drive they had on Loman. So it's one that's going to cost them. It's the first run they score, and they still got somebody in scoring position on second base. So let's see how they work and trying to get the other run across.
Well, they sure have. With the two outs, of course, Chivani, the catcher, after that great double, will get a break, and Molokwani will come out of the dugout and run for him. And it's the centre fielder, Cornet DeLange now. Will take his opportunity. Rise ball's too high, his first offering. One of the things I always admire at the ballpark, or I find of interest, is with all these different countries, the different languages, and the way that the guys communicate, and the passion, or the way, the different tones that they speak in. I find it interesting, and I don't know too many languages, but I'd love to learn a few more, that's for sure.
Well, Dutch is one of the most difficult languages to learn, that's for sure.
I've been trying to pick up a few words this week, and I tell you what, it's not that easy. Thank God hello is still hello.
Yeah, hello will get you a long way.
Yeah. But you know what, very lucky in the Netherlands. Everyone speaks perfect English as well, so kind of looking after us guys on tour. Hard line drive, and it works from DeLange. This could tie the ball game. The throw's coming in. Here comes the runner, and he will score. Molokani comes in off the hit of DeLange, and we got ourselves a tied ball game.
Looks like they figured him out a little bit now in the fourth inning. seen him go to second round on some of the hitters and getting the adjustments made and making good contact on him.
Well, 3 scoreless innings from Lucas Lohman to start this ball game. The fourth, the top and middle of the order, has exploded for South Africa and picked up 2 runs here off 3 hits. So just at the right time to tie up this ball game. Pitching-wise for Denmark, of course, they have Kim Hansen and Valdemar Turkelson. Both of them are in the field at the moment. One at first base, one at right field, so that's a tough adjustment to bring them in. Anyone else in the bullpen for them, do you know?
I think these are the 3 that they are throwing from them this tournament.
Well, it's Lucas Lohman then. We need a bear down, of course. Got a replacement coming in for South Africa here. Rian Haddington, shirt number 89. Tell you what, that last name's got Afrikaans look about it. I'm sure it sounds nothing like Haddington at all. But you can watch the rise ball sail too high out of the zone anyway.
Well, South Africa is trying to keep this going. Runner on first base.
Slow roll to the shortstop. Have to make a bang-bang throw, and he does. Close. Second fine play was seen from the shortstop, Daniel Milne, and that'll shut the door on the 4th innings, but not before. It's the catcher, Shamane, and the centre fielder, Delangi, driving in a run apiece on their shots to the outfield. We got ourselves a tied ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Top 5 coming. Locked on 2.
Yep.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 2-2 scoreline now. We've got ourselves a real ball game between South Africa and Denmark. Denmark will send up the replacement left fielder. There's Oscar Anderson to lead off here. Effort pitch out of Masengi.
This is also one of the young guys from Denmark coming through in their lineups.
Oh, good swing. Level swing too.
Yeah, he's a decent ball player. He's got good reach in the outfield, strong on the bases.
Curveball outside is a waste pitch from Masengi. Not tempting enough here for Anderson. Masengi peers in for the signal. Leans back now. Here comes a 2-2. Oscar fouls that one off. What'll go into the bush? Off go running the ball boys and girls. Plenty of communication coming out of the South African dugout now. And it's a hard hit ball. This will go to a shot. It's going back. It's got a jack. And it's Anderson who changes the score just like that over the centre field fence for the longest shot of all.
Yeah, this is a really talented guy. I would have expected him to be in the lineup in the games they played before, but they had him on the bench. Well, maybe they waited for the right moment. And, a supreme at bat.
A nice bit of work there. Rise ball at the top of the zone. Got the top hand into it. And Anderson drove that over the centre field with a nice swing. Well, here's a swing that you don't see very often. Kim Hansen now, renowned pitcher for Denmark. And he grounds the other way. Won't muck around on the batter's box. Monakwani will make that a 4-3 play. I was going to ask you before Hansen got up, does he bat right or left-handed? I've never seen him hit before. Of course, in Europe, maybe he gets the opportunity a bit more.
Well, he's not batting a lot.
All right. Daniel Yulinon now, designated player. One comes down Main Street. Plenty of effort coming out of Masengi here. Change up, Yulinon with his hands back, but pulls it just down the line. Been around for a while now, Daniel Yulinon, or affectionately known as Charlie, right?
Yeah, Charlie's been around for a long time. Used now mainly as a DH, but he played a lot of first base.
Mm-hmm.
Did a little bit of pitching, but his bat is really one to consider.
Right.
He's really a dangerous hitter. He's got a lot of power.
Yeah, seems very level-headed in the box. Change up down low, not tempting at all. How to fill up the count now on the dangerous hitter Yulinon. Ground ball over the top and nicely taken by Thompson at first base. So with 2 outs now to bring up Martin Simonson. His dugout just cheering him on a little bit as he's starting to try and warm up his bat before he gets to the World Series later on this week. And that'll warm it up well as he drives one bounce to the left fielder. He's got plenty of pace. Can he leg it into two? He slides in. And Simonson a threat on the bases for sure. Regulation single to left field, bobbled by the left fielder.
Well, this is going to be interesting to see. We got a runner on second, and the guy's been smacking the ball real hard in every at-bat so far. Let's see how he's going to get pitched.
Well, you talk about getting confidence off a good hit and home run off Adam Folkard in the last match from Anton Brown, followed by his 2-from-2 showing here today. This one's the centre. It'll split the gap, and Simonson will score with these as Brown will put on the brakes as he stands into second. RBI double.
I didn't waste any pitch on that.
We sure didn't. And just like that, the score now, Denmark jump out with 2 of their own runs in the top of the 5th innings. So 4 runs to 2, Denmark leading over South Africa now. Simpson will go back out to run for Brown, of course, in catching duties today. That'll bring up Alessandro Wong.
I would have expected that they would have pitched a little bit more around him. But he put one really nice down the middle and got a good hack on it.
Well, we saw Anton Brown first at bat, first pitch went to left field. Second at bat was a bit of a count, to be fair, but went to right field. Last at bat, first pitch, drove it to centre field. So turning the wagon wheel is Brown here today against South Africa. That'll level the count here on Wong. Foul back. Well, just before the innings started, we saw assistant coach Jens Turkelson walk past and let his team know that 30 minutes left in the ball game. So that bit of advice has prompted them to get something going here. Wong working hard. Singy leans back. Here comes the 2-2. Hard ground ball to third base. Moitz is up from one knee on the ground and makes a nice throw over to first base to retire the Danish team here in the top of the 5th innings. Not before, though. It's the replacement player, Oscar Anderson, blasts one out of the park. Anton Brown continues to torrid affair for an RBI double. 2 runs scored by Denmark, 4-2 they lead. We'll be back with the bottom of the 5 in just a moment. Bottom of the 5th innings here, South Africa piled on 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th. They'll look to try and do the same here against Lucas Lomu because they trail by 2 after Denmark replied straight away. Loman's gone the distance thus far. 3 innings of scoreless work before the blemish of 2 runs in the 4th innings. Bottom 2 of the order now for South Africa, though. If we can get a clean innings here, it'll be a better chance for Denmark, I guess, to try and close this match out.
Yeah, they got a lead to defend, so let's see if they can close this inning.
Grounding out to Hansen does Masawenge for the first out here. From South Africa's point of view, mate, what do you think they need to be doing now after they tied the ball game, gave up a couple of runs? What do they need to be doing right now as we get late into this ball game?
I think they'd be a little bit more patient in their approach at bat. You know, take some more pitches and try to keep it deeper in the count. Try to get on base, and then that's what happened last inning, where they got some guys on base, and they were able to produce some runs.
Well, not leaving any stone unturned here. So they will go to their bench and bring on Luke Jacobs. Well, we've got 2 number 9s, have we? Yeah, Luke Jacobs. Guess the other 9 on the lineup book is their executive member. I don't think John Moloko Legodi will be here. The New Zealand Black Sox, they'll be taking on Australia here. Repeat of the grand final from 2015 in Whitehorse. That's the next matchup here on Diamond 1. It'll be the last one of our broadcasts. It'll be 5 p.m. here, local time. Lance Wynn and myself with a call on that one. That should be fun to see those 2 powerhouse teams go head-to-head. Change-up is good from Loman. We've seen a couple of good ones of those in this match. 2 outs here, so Loman doing the right thing through the bottom of the order. Top of the shop, of course, Paloma Pilati, designated player in this one. He will step in. Flew out to left, flew out to centre. All the things that's left is to get it down safe. Drop ball low. Third look, though, it's always a little easier for the batters third time round.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting to see if he can take the at-bats he had before and use it in his advantage to be patient and sort out the right pitch to drive it. Can still get on base and make something happen with 2 outs.
Well, the opportunity is here. 2 outs, of course, in the bottom of the 5th innings. An attempt is low.
Going deeper in the count here.
Just what you called for them to take a few pitches here. 3 of them balls, of course, all teetering around the edge of the zone. And repaid with a walk here for Pilati as he's patient up at the box here. William Thompson now, first baseman. He's been solid over there. 1 from 2. Single to third base. Seth Kikana, first base assistant coach, just passing on his advice. That one comes through the zone. Head coach, Fordes Dole for South Africa. And Mokiri Mokaile would be the other assistant coach. So good management for South Africa on this tour, heading to the World Championship. Off the end of the bat, and it'll work as it dumps into shallow right field, and they will go coast to coast on it, Pilati. And just like that, South Africa's got something cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, we haven't finished this game yet. There's still going to be excitement here. Denmark has got to be on their toes now. Got 2 runners on the corners.
Oh, well, the table is set now. 2 runners on, trailing by 2 for the shortstop. Javier Frost picked up a single to third base his last trip. And a hard drop or bit more pace on that one from Lohman.
Just try to get ahead in the count.
Takes that outside, levels the count. So just like you called it, went back to the top of the shop, and they've been a bit more patient at the plate here. Picking the right time. No movement at first base, yet from Thompson. They want to throw any outs away at this point. Will South Africa very minimise the amount of them, but if he can scamper to second base somehow, a single from Frost could tie the ball game. It's the gamble, isn't it? Do you send them or do you not?
Exactly. He's being patient. He's going deep in the count, making sure that the one he's going for is going to be right there to drive.
Well, that one was right there, right at the top of the zone, though. Good to see Frost not turn around to the umpire on that call. Change up. Will they get through the 5-6 hole? Whoa! Held his hands back just enough, did Frost, and South Africa are now within 1 run of the lead. There's those different languages or tones of him. He's using English over there, the first base coach, that's Seth Kikana. And he's an animated character, I tell you, that's for sure. Here we go. This is the time. That's what Coach Kikana says. Selenge Molokani now. He's been given his instruction. I don't know if you can pick it up on the microphone, but it's great to see the passion that South Africa play with. Good location from Lohman there, not allowing the occasion to get to him.
But again, they're going deeper in the count. They're being patient and waiting for the pitch to the one that they can drive.
And if this gets down, oh, it can't though, because these Valdemar Turkelson at right field just hit it too well. Zed Molokani, and that'll be the 3rd out in the innings. But not before. So they're going to come back and strike for 1 as Javier Frost puts it through the 5-6 hole here in the bottom of the 5th innings. We've got ourselves a real ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Top 6 coming up. 4-3, Denmark over South Africa. Well, welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen. Top of the 6 innings. Got ourselves a real ball game. 1 run it is between these two great nations, Denmark and South Africa. Denmark picked up 2 in the top of the 5th innings to go with their 1 run each in the first and the second. South Africa replied, of course, with 2 in the bottom of the 4th innings, and then 1 just now on the bottom of the 5th. That gives us a 4-3 scoreline to Denmark. Denmark will send up, of course, Jakob Berger, Daniel Milne, and then top of the shop, Valdemar Terkelsen. That 5-6 hole's been busy today, and that is
Awesome play.
the type of play we've been waiting for. Javier Frost, the shortstop from South Africa, ranging deep under cover in the 5-6 hole, makes a bounce throw over to 1 in time to record the out. Daniel Milner now. There's something different you won't see every day, Peter. A running swing. Not a running slap, but a running full-on swing.
Yeah, I think maybe he wanted to go slap, but he changed his mind, and then it looked a little bit different.
We did see him drop a bunt down there, and again, I think one he kind of slapped to the left side as well. A lot of moving parts there, though, just watching the young man.
Yeah, he's just shifting his leg instead of a crossover with a normal slap motion.
Yeah. It's always the gamble with the left-hander. Do you go with the speed game or go with the power game? Of course, the advantage is obvious. Off the end of the bat, looking for no man's land. Left foot is ranging, and he will make a fine play out there. Poso, Masengi, and record the out of the speedy Milne, the left field.
I experienced that a lot when I was playing also here in Zeist against the Czech teams, because they got a lot of lefty guys, and I was playing first base.
Right.
So you had to be on your toes. Are they going to slap? Are they going to bunt? Are they going to drive it around you?
Well, another good lefty here in Valdemar Terkelsen. 1 from 3 on the day. He does have the ability of a bunt and run, but I don't think you'll see that out of. Oh, there you go. I thought, no, he's had enough. He'll put that in the back pocket.
He wants to get on base desperately.
He's a team player, that's for sure. We've got Oscar Anderson, the home run hitter, will hit after him.
And he's got speed, so that's a threat.
Ground ball on the outside, a nice leaping snag by Masengi, the pitcher. And that'll retire Denmark in order here in the 6th innings. South Africa only trailing by 1. Can they grab it in the bottom of the 6th? We'll find out how much time we got left when we come back. But we know it's only 1 run. Well, keep your seatbelts on, ladies and gentlemen. This one's been an up and down rocky road. 4-3 the scoreline. And the rocky road continues as a hard-hitting catcher, Shamamane.
Another hit for him.
Another hit for him. 2 on the day with an RBI. He's having himself a good one. Okona Delange. Remember, they were the back-to-back hits back in the 4th innings to Blake 2 runs. He'll have another opportunity here.
Let's see if they go to the short game here. Not really.
First pitch, but I think we've got a catcher's interference and just making contact with the glove there was Delange. So no hit needed for him. He just hit the glove and he'll go down to first base. So third baseman now. Okay, so Moiti, he's only had the one at bat. Remember, had pinch hit for back in the 4th. He's back into action. And he drops a perfect sacrifice bunt down. That'll move the runners over to second and third. And catching just a little bit of contact with Wong at third base there. Not too sure Wong was completely happy with it. And a perfect sacrifice bunt by Moiti. Opportunity now for South Africa. Trailing by 1 run here, and they will send up the right fielder. Mandler. Matsawangi. Goes to the first pitch. Chinese cut between the legs. Trailing by 1. 2 runners in scoring position. That'll get South Africa out of the dugout for sure. That's up. Is it deep enough? The catcher is coming home. Here comes the collision,
awesome
the tag, and he is gone.
Oh, that's a run. That's a run.
And, of course, with only no outs there, a fine play by the
No, there was 3 outs. It was the bunt.
sacrifice bunt, of course. They're 2 down. The catch at centre field. Just a little bit of action from South Africa to keep everyone on their toes. But it's Martin Simpson with a hose from shallow centre field. Throws out the opposing catcher trying to score from third base. Well, that'll do an eventful 6 innings, but more importantly for Denmark, they keep him blank. Score remains 4 runs to 3. Back with the bottom, the top of the 7th in just a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A great contest between South Africa and Denmark here. Penultimate end of this one, top of the 7th innings. It is Denmark that lead by 1 run here at the point. And the home run hitter. Replacement left fielder Oscar Anderson takes the first pitch. Goes at this one, fouls over the right field line. Kim Hansen scheduled to hit in the warm-up circle. Looks like the coach is going to make a change and re-enter Frederick Turkelson. And on the back of this one is Anderson, and it's one bounce to the fence, and he will trot into second base with a lead-off double. The 2 spot in the batting order for Denmark has been hot all day. Hit to Jorgensen, and 2 hits now to Anderson in that spot for this match. Freddie Turkelson is indeed being re-entered into the ball game. He will step in to go to work now. The Great Dane. He takes the first pitch down low. My impression of Freddie over the years, Peter, is he's just simply a clutch hitter.
Yeah, this is no easy at bat here for South Africa. They really got to be smart to pitch around him, trying to make him fish, and keeping the runner on second. But yeah, if you see who's in the on deck circle, so they have to pitch him, otherwise Charlie would be on up next and extend the threat.
Well, the wild pitch will allow Anderson to scamper down to third base, 60 feet away now from an insurance run. Changes the approach, of course, for Turkelson. Fly ball's enough.
He's going to try to put it deep in the outfield.
Just ahead of that one as it backs over the backstop. There's a bit of communication there between Turkelson and the home plate umpire. He's on the end of it. Is it deep enough?
Oh, that's going to be close.
Semi-shallow. Here comes the throw. It's strong. The play, the catch. And here's out on an excellent blocking catch tag by the catcher, Isaiah Shimane. He might have been out cold trying to score from third base himself before, but I tell you what, he made up for it there, being a strong man in the train tracks who ain't coming through my station as he applies the tag. I want to bring out both coaches from Denmark, Turkelson and Eldridge, and they'll bring the umpires in here to discuss on whether there was a blocked play before he received the ball. Do we allow a channel for the runner to come home? Of course, if he's fielding it at the same time, he's well within his right to stand where he chooses. I think it's one of those plays, Peter, where the tag was quite hard and the stop was quite sudden, that sometimes the play feels like, is that a wrong play?
Well, that's the thing that's going on now, that with the changes, you cannot block the plate anymore, where normally this would have been a normal situation where you just get the ball to home plate, catcher blocking the plate and making the play, and you have to go around it. Now there's like a ruling that you cannot block the plate, and that's what they're challenging now.
Yeah, they don't want you to stand in the lane when you're receiving the ball, before you receive the ball, but you can, of course, receive it and then come into the lane, or if the throw takes you into the lane, that's fine. So it's a fine. It is obviously a decision made by the umpires on what they see.
But it looked like the ball was way there before the runner was there.
So with the umpires going straight to the South African head coach first down there, Fortis Doe, and they've got to be making a call of obstruction on the catcher. And of course, that'll be an insurance run for Denmark if that is the case. Big call and a one-run ball game here. It's one of those ones that can go either way too, Peter.
Yeah, it's a judgment call, and they grouped up, getting all the umpires together, and they switched the decision. and then it's of course that the other team is gonna offend on that and have their way on the umpire. But in my opinion, the ball was way early to home plate before the runner was there.
Well, it was a strong throw from Korunit Lange out at centre field, and the catch wasn't full depth in the outfield, but the throw was good and it was on the money.
Yep.
To get there in time. And it's just a matter of whether they feel there was some obstruction to the runner before the ball arrived to the catcher. It's a timing thing.
Maybe one of the things that fuels that decision is that it was like a block play, that it was really stopped. So it wasn't just a tag, but they collided and it was a full block.
Well, it was a hard block, that's for sure. Young Anderson took his time getting up from the ground off that one. But it looks like that bruise that he's got is going to be rewarded with a run here. We're just allowing the South African coach to have his time with the umpires. He's obviously not going to be happy about the situation. He knows his team has just got back into this ball game, and any more than one run is going to make things difficult.
Yeah, South Africa is getting fired up.
Daniel Ulenon just waiting on deck here. And talking about guns from centre field, Martin Simonson, he threw a seed in the last innings himself. So
yeah, it's
centre fielders are putting a show on today.
Similar situation and result. They gunned him down at home plate.
Well, it's always a good conversation, and it's one of those ones, I think, when the umpires have made a decision, especially once they've come together, unless you can find another ruling or another side of the play, because they've already made their decision around what they felt the catcher did, you can maybe make another ruling or find another way to get success out of it. I think you've kind of just a little bit. You've got to get your point across, but you're almost wasting your time.
Yeah, it's still a judgment call that, this is what they saw. There's a ruling on this kind of situation, and they protested the first decision, and they got their way.
We've got 4 umpires in attendance here. I've had 4 umpires in every game. All of them are WBSC accredited umpires, so if they're going to get the call right by working together, you know that what they see is what they see, and in this case, they see an obstruction.
Well, they're asking for the chief umpire, but I don't think that's going to help. They're not going to change, even if they're coming down here. They're not going to change the ruling. They're going to follow what the umpire was saying. I think and the decision they made.
And I think sometimes maybe they can be a little bit lost in translation when we're communicating between different nations and what you feel you have the privilege to do or can't do. And the South African coach is obviously trying to get his point across, and unfortunately for him, it was only a matter of time before that was going to happen. And yeah, and
this is a shame that it's coming this far.
You know what though, Peter, there is, you talk about getting your team ready for a world championship. You know what? This is part of it. He needs to show his players, I've got your back. I'm going to stand up for you here. I'm going to protest this with the umpire until I'm blue in the face, until he throws me out. That's his mission, right? You can see that,
you got
right?
a point there. You got a point.
And so his team's going to go, you've got my back. You know what? When you call me to slide or you call me to bunt when I think it should, I'm going to go with your call because you've got my back. I got your back. So that'll be the day, though, for head coach head coach for the South African team. For Tiris Doe, and taking over will be Nakiri Hockett, he will be the assistant coach that comes out and helps in the role for them. And I guess the official call was an obstruction at the plates. Remember, Freddie Turkelson, back 5 minutes ago, flew out to centre field. Great throw by Delangi from South Africa with a catch at home and the tag, but obstruction at the same time. So Anderson with the lead-off double, he will score on the play. So the scoreline now officially moves 5 runs to 3 to Denmark. One out, of course. Daniel Yulanon been waiting so patiently. Looks like the wait is almost over. Better up called here. Home plate umpire.
Bob Gieskens.
Yes, I'm glad you said it. I can do the first word. Your pronunciation is so good. We're all set to go now. Tough work for Bob here this afternoon. Good on him. He's got it under control now. We are in the last innings. One down, Daniel Yulanon. Strike in the middle. Masingi body language doesn't look too good here, to be fair. And Yulanon dispatches that as Masingi just feeds it in for BP, to be honest with you. He's made his decision on what he wants to do for the rest of this game.
They're trying to make a point, but it's not going to change anything.
So 2 insurance runs now for Denmark, and I think you might want to try something different here because Martin Simonson, he's got plenty of power in his bat as well. Got to say, this game didn't get started over a little bit of question mark around the rulings and things. Denmark were in the last game, of course, against Australia. Fine match by Kim Hansen on the dish there. On the plate. And Simonson just missed that one. They were in the third base dugout. And South Africa came over for this match. And on the draw, they were third base, and they made Denmark pick up their gear and move. So normally common courtesy says, look, you're already there. Just stay there. It's fine. It's okay. And in this case, no, South Africa dug their heels in and made Denmark move everything. And then Denmark flying out straight after this game, so they'd look after their luggage at the same time. And maybe now a little bit of that karma is coming back to bite them.
Yeah, they made a point out of sitting in their dugout that they claimed. And
well, I guess there's always a game in the game. You never know what their thought pattern is behind it all. But we do know that Anton Brown has been hard hitting all day here. 3 from 3. Flies one out. And third baseman Moite will make the catch. And that'll do an eventful top half of the 7th, where Denmark, they plate the 2 runs. The obstruction at home plate on Anderson, of course, the big shot from Daniel Yulanon. 6-3, back, bottom 7, shortly. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the bottom of the 7th innings. And we'll get that camera home plate adjusted for you shortly. Nice work. Norman Ames helping out on the video switcher. Never done it before. He's picked it up just like that. Always knew he's talented in the softball diamond. Yeah, we know he's talented with the digital world as well. Well, Denmark will make a defensive change here. Freddie Turkelson, he will be after the sacrifice fly to centre field. Will come out of the ball game again, and that'll be his day. Anis Fana will take over at first base with a big mitt and a big beard. South Africa want to try and answer here. Trailing by 3 now. And they'll send up Luke Jacobs. And he'll drive one through the 5-6 hole. Just what South Africa needed. Well, showing like they've got something left in the tank here, Peter, South Africa.
Yeah, they're being aggressive and utilizing every pitch that's coming to hit and trying to make something happen.
Well, top of the shop now, Pilati. 0 from 2 with a walk today. So the leadoff hitter would like to change that record. Rise ball was above the zone, his first delivery. And nice change-up action. Gets Pilati on the front foot. Dummy throw to first, not going nowhere as Jacobs. Brown, left-handed catcher. Obviously that throw to first base is open to him all the time. Drop ball down. Loman still looks like he's got plenty of the tank out there though, Peter.
Yeah, he's trying to pitch around him because if he puts one down the middle, he's they're gonna try to utilize on that. So he's trying to make them fish. Try to use some spin on the ball, going up, going down, changing speeds.
Plenty of respect been given to the South African hitters. The trouble has been number 2, 4, and 5 in the batting order for sure. 6 a little bit as well. So 2 from 3 is Thompson, who'll bat next. So they want to try and get this out here. If they put on board 2 runners without an out, that could be a recipe for South Africa to make the comeback of all comebacks.
Well, Denmark got a bigger lead now, so it's important for them to just get the outs and take them one by one. The runner on first is not gonna hurt them if that one would score. So it's better to focus now on getting the outs.
Damien McCulley there with a safe call on the check swing. And drop ball just too high, plenty over effort there. And they do get 2 base runners on. South Africa, now they'll go into the meat of the order. Liam Thompson, the big first baseman. 2 from 3 we said. 1 to third base, 1 to right field. If he can continue his form here, who knows what type of grandstand finish we'll get. Ball lay, good catching by Brown. Backhanded take, of course the lefty. It always looks a little bit funny when they're catching. Yes, he did. Came through on it. Umpire Bob's got right there. Change up, bounce short. So it's starting to happen here. A little mound of pressure coming up, just a little bit. Mercury rising. But it's Thompson here. They can bust it into the 40s. And he'll see that effort ball, drop ball above the zone again from Lohman. Just a little guilty.
Going deep again in the counts, let him pitch. And
just thinking a little bit about the occasion and then his execution. That rise ball is good. Swing and a miss from Thompson. Here comes the South African team. Here comes the cheering and the whistling. You don't see that in the men's game these days. Isn't it great to see?
That is a great atmosphere here.
And Lohman rears it back, trying to silence the whistles. He does one time there on back-to-back rise balls. Thompson a little guilty at chasing that last one. Javier Frost, been outstanding in the field. Excellent play from the 5-6 hole. And here's a hard hit ball from Frost. It'll play to run for sure. We've got ourselves a 2-run ball game as he comes into home plate. And South Africa are answering here in the bottom of the 7th innings.
Yeah, South Africa is just keeping the pressure on. They're not folding. They're just giving everything they got, trying to get back in the game. And this is something I would have expected just before already, that they make a pitching change.
I think defensively, I'm not too sure we're going to make a pitching change because, of course, Hansen is now out of the ball game. He came in as a substitution for Freddie, and then Freddie came re-entered. That will do Hansen's day. Valdemar's the other option, but he's been playing in the outfield the whole game. Hasn't come up to get warmed up yet. So I think it's going to be Lohman's ball game here, but maybe Jens just wanted to make sure defensively
they make the right choices.
Yeah, the right play here.
Yeah.
Obviously, the pitcher's best friend double play will get them out of the ball game. Well, Sigali Molokane, the second baseman from South Africa, with a big opportunity here. One down. 2 ducks on the pond, only 2 runs in the game now. 6 runs to 4 the scoreline.
And South Africa is heating up now from the dugout.
It doesn't take much to get them heated up. They can feel the juices. The opportunity is there. And it's a hard hit ball. Goes the other way. Tickleson can't get it. It'll bring in 1, maybe 2 for sure as he's grounding 2. Here comes 1, there comes 2. And we've got ourselves a tied ball game. The first hit of the day for Molokane, and it's the best one so far. A 2-run triple that locks this baby up 6 apiece.
This is an exciting ball game. Getting real softball until the end of the last inning. Got a runner on the corner at third base. Still a big threat there. 1 out.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Who would it be coming up to the plate than none other than the man called for an illegal block, and they won't let him have a chance here. With a base open at first base, they're going to put him on. Isaiah Chimani. Remember, he made the block and obstruction call in the top of the 7th innings as that insurance run came in. And they're going to load him up, Denmark, to get through the meat of their order to try and get all the way down to the third baseman. Kangso Moeti. Well, there's nowhere to put him now because all the pond is full of ducks. And it's Moeti with a big opportunity here. And he goes to the first pitch, and it's going back, and to the fence. South Africa will win the ball game with 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th innings, and it's the third baseman, Kingzo Moeti, who comes up trump here. South Africa, an unbelievable comeback in the bottom of the 7th innings. The 7th innings proving to be pivotal with lots of excitement, obstruction at home plate, balls hit all over the place. And you know what? Wow, what a spectacle, Peter. What a game.
Yeah, he wasn't waiting on anything else. He was ready to go and was going for the first one, drove it deep in the outfield, and wow, what a finish of a great game.
Well, an amazing matchup here between the boys from Denmark and the men from South Africa, going to and from in this one the whole way. Denmark having the lead, only to get it tied up at one stage, but led the whole ball game pretty much until the bottom of the 7th, when South Africa rallied for 4 runs to win this one. 7 runs to 6. South Africa are the winners today here and we thank them for their participation in the tournament as they will go head away to the Czech Republic. The same with Denmark. We wish them bon voyage and the best of luck, and we'll see them in Prague in a week's time or so. Australia and New Zealand are up next. When we come back, we'll sign off on this one. Peter, thank you for your time in the booth this weekend, my friend, and Norman Ames on the video switcher, an exceptional job. Well, signing off on this one, and as we said, we'll be back with the last game on the schedule, New Zealand and Australia. Back soon.
Well, thanks for having us, and
Hit up the middle. In comes Benny Noker.